Hello folks, DJ Vinyl Vertigo here. Welcome back to my channel. I just want to do a real quick video. I haven't even had breakfast yet. I just woke up a little while ago and took the dogs out for a walk. And I'm not really hungry yet, but I figure I'd get this done now because I have a lot of stuff to do later on. I have some classes I got to do online and stuff for my license. So I'm going to be busy this Sunday, but I figured I'd take this morning to go through some stuff. I've been watching some videos last night and stuff and having a good time with that. Oh, just by the way, I just saw the film It's Not Over, the documentary about the life of Jeff Buckley. Really good video, really good documentary, I should say. Very inspiring, very heartfelt, and very informative. Things I did not know about him and did not realize. But I really appreciate the work that was put into the documentary. The same director who did the documentary Little Girl Blue about Janis Joplin, which was another great one. Anyway, if you get a chance to check it out, I saw it at the Green Light Cinema here in St. Petersburg. It's a little art theater downtown. And because I don't like going to the movies, but I'll go to an art theater because it's small and people go to the movies in those theaters to really see movies instead of just sitting around chatting and texting on their phones and stuff. I just don't go to multiplexes anymore. I'm not into it. Not my scene. Anyway, that's not what I was doing this video for, but I just wanted to put that out there about that film. Brian I've been watching a lot of videos on Brian's channel, Brian from the Embryonic Robot in Toronto, Canada, and he's been doing some really good videos, and there was one that he did about gaps between releases for certain artists, like long gaps or noticeable gaps between works. And I thought that was a really interesting thread. It was a thread that he found on another person's channel by the name of, the channel was called Careful With That Axe, Eugene. And the guy's name is Rick. And I think his name is Rick. It's very interesting. And I didn't pay attention to the rules because I pulled a bunch of records out to do my own, my answer to the thread. And I guess I'm going to do kind of like an abridged version of what they did. The parameters were like 5 releases. I did more than 5 releases. And I don't know if and I think they showed both records. I think Brian did at least. I think Rick did also, but I'm only going to show one release and tell you what was prior or post and what was the length between the two. So let's get started. I mean, I guess I can make up my own rules. I don't know. We're going to start with a member of Fleetwood Mac, Christine McVie. Christine McVie, rest in peace. This record is called Christine McVie, and it was released in 1970. And it has, let's see, what's the song? Got a Hold on Me? Is that the name of the song? I forget now. But this is a really, really good record. It has the typical sound of Christine McVie, her sound of the types of songs that she writes. I really like this release. I got this pretty cheap and it's in really good condition. I like Christine McVie a lot. I miss her. She was definitely an important part of the second incarnation of Fleetwood Mac before Buckingham and Nicks were added in. She was added first. She was first as a guest artist, and then she became a permanent artist of permanent member of Fleetwood Mac. Anyway, so she did that in 1970, and then the next album that she didn't put out another album until 2004. It was called In the Meantime, and then she did one after that with Lindsey Buckingham. So, yeah, she didn't do any more solo stuff till then. She had collaborated with lots of people, but she had not done a solo album by herself until 2004. So that's number one. The next one is one of my favorite albums, La Belle, Chameleon. These soul stirrers, these funk princesses, this trio of funk and soul and rock really did some damage back in the day. They were so good. And this is from 1976. Chameleon has great songs like Get You Somebody New, Isn't It a Shame? Chameleon, of course. Going Down Makes Me Shiver. Just an incredible record. Great stuff. Great cover. And this album was their final album for a long time. They, Patti LaBelle went and did her own thing. Sarah Dash joined Keith Richards, and Nona Hendrix went solo as well. And they didn't get back together to do a recording until 2008. So from 1976 to 2008, they did not work together recording. And they did an album called Back to Now, I think it was called. It was okay. It had a couple of good tracks on there. It's not of the level of the earlier records that they did. But, they changed over all those years, And so did the music industry, and so did technology, So it was a lot less organic, a little bit more synthetic, synthesized kind of thing. So I was not that into it. But that would be their final record, Back to Now, because that was in 2008. And then they didn't do anything again after that. But they're not going to be able to do anything together again because Sarah Dash passed away in 2021 at the age of 76. So that's the end of that, with the original members, at least. I'm sure Patty and Nona could do something together if they wanted to. So who knows? Hold out hope for that. So anyway, that's that. That's number two. The next one, Steely Dan, Gaucho. This is a really great album. This is the album that came out right after Asia. Very similar in style, I think. Very introspective kind of stuff on this. I think this is more introspective than even Asia. This came out in 1980. It probably was pretty popular. I don't know if it was as popular as Asia was, but it's still pretty popular. But they didn't do anything else recording-wise till 2000. And that was Two Against Nature, and that was their Grammy-winning. They won Album of the Year that year, in the year 2000, which was a real surprise for everybody because, the previous years, a lot of younger bands were getting that, and really popular bands. But for some reason, Two Against Nature just struck a nerve with a lot of people, and that was a great album. Anyway, so there was a big gap there, 20 years, for Steely Dan. So from Gaucho to Two Against Nature, 20 years. Next up, Traffic. And this is Where the Eagle Flies. When the Eagle Flies is the name of this record. And I don't really know this album that well. I don't remember a lot of stuff on this. It's produced by Chris Blackwell and Traffic. This is from 1974. I love the cover, the sketching on the cover. Really nice. But I don't know if it had any hits or anything like that. I didn't really do any checking out the background. But most of the songs are written by Steve Winwood and Jim Capaldi, except for one was done by Steve Winwood and somebody by the name of Stans Hall. Anyway, this record came out in 74, and they didn't have another record until Far Away Home, which I think was the final record that they've done together so far. And that was in 1994. So that's a 20-year gap, once again. Steve Winwood, of course, and Jim Capaldi, of course, all did their own things for many, many years, especially through the 80s and the 90s. So, 20-year gap. Some major gaps here. this was a very significant gap for this artist. This artist has put out very little material over the years with his incredible, illustrious um, career that he had, but he had some legal issues in the meantime. I believe he had some mental issues going on, and I don't know what he's doing right now. I hear that he's popping up here and there, sitting in with people, but he's not doing a lot of stuff on his own. It's really sad. He, I think, it's one of those stories of could have, and it just didn't materialize. And I think that was because of his own uh, needs and his own trajectory, his own journey, um, and also I guess is what he wanted or what did not want to do. There's certain artists like that that blew up and then just kind of disappeared from major view. I mean, not totally disappeared. Like Lauryn Hill blew up and then like that's it. I don't, you know. And this is another one. D'Angelo. This is D'Angelo and the Vanguard, Black Messiah. I think it's a very experimental. He has a tendency to be pretty experimental with the neo soul. I don't think he ever liked the moniker neo soul, and I think that's partially why he goes very experimental because he doesn't want to be put in a box. This is a gatefold. There's D'Angelo. He's got some great songs on here: 1,000 Deaths, The Charade, Sugar Daddy, Really Love, Betray My Heart, The Door, another great one. But it's self-produced. This came out in 2014, I believe. Yeah, 2014, and it's really a wonderful record. It's one of those things you have to sit down and really contemplate. It's not an easy listen for those who like the music to come easy to them. When you think of neo soul, you just want it to groove and that's it. He goes in places where, you know, and also when he sings, sometimes he sings very quietly, and you really have to pay attention to what he's saying. So, I think he's a poet. He's definitely a poet. D'Angelo. The prior record to this, he hasn't put anything out since this, but before this, which was 2014, he had the record Voodoo, which was a huge record for him. I had the song Untitled, which has an infamous video where he's naked, and it starts with showing his face or his eye, and he's singing, and the camera slowly, as the song goes on, the camera slowly pans out to the point where you can see him almost to his crotch, and you can see that he's naked, and that's how the video ends, which drove women insane, and a lot of gay men too, because he's not bad to look at, or at that time he wasn't. So Black Messiah was 2014, and before that was Voodoo 2000. So we're talking 14 years, and now that's 2014. That's 11 years ago. So if he puts on another record, there'll be another gap, obviously. But that has not materialized yet, so we'll see what happens. D'Angelo. We're almost there. Next up is a really great duo by the name of Everything But the Girl. This is their last release so far, called Fuse. They put out some EPs after that, little 12 inches and stuff. They have an EP EP of this that has remixes of some of the songs on this from Fuse. But this was put out in 2023. Actually, that EP was a Record Store Day release. This is called Fuse. It's dance music mainly. And oh, actually, this is not it. Sorry. Oops. Hold on. I pulled it so fast. Where's Fuse? Oh, I can't find my Fuse. All right. Anyway, this is the EP. But just think, Fuse looks just like this, except that it just says Fuse, Fuse, Fuse all over. Sorry. So I'll show you. It looks very similar to this. This is the EP. I pulled the wrong record. But anyway, let's just talk about it. Everything But the Girl. Mr. Watts what's his name? Ben Watt and Tracy Thorn, husband and wife team, for years doing this. And Ben did not like to be in the popular light, so they kind of like went on hiatus for a while because he didn't like how big they were getting. Some people don't like to deal with all that fame, and he's one of those. He also had an illness for a while. I don't really know specifically what it was, but he had some kind of illness. He lost a lot of weight and he was very weak. But they're back, and they put this out in 2023. The record prior to this was in 1999, so that's 24 years prior, and that was called Temperamental, and that was kind of like a trance and drum and bass kind of record. It was very good, and I don't usually like drum and bass, but they did it very well. I really dig it. It's not my favorite album of theirs, but it's actually really good. I like Walking Wounded and some of the earlier stuff more. I like when they're less dancey and more ballady and stuff. I just like their ballads a lot. But I can get into them no matter what, because Tracy Thorn's voice is so beautiful. It's just such a beautiful, gorgeous voice. So that's that. And then finally, a group that I never thought we'd ever see anything from again. And now, because they didn't leave each other on good terms, and but they've worked that stuff through, and they've matured, both of them. And that's Tears for Fears. They came out with a record in 2022 called The Tipping Point. Very different from their earlier stuff, I think. But it was a welcome change, you know. And this is a gatefold. Great cover. I love this cover. The Tipping Point has some great songs. The Tipping Point, the title track, Break the Man, My Demons, River of Mercy, End of Night, Master Plan. There's some really good stuff. Again, a lot of autobiographical kind of stuff, talking about their lives on this record. Things that have happened in their lives in the years that we have not seen them as a group. Actually, for a while, yeah, everybody was hoping that they would get back together, and they finally did. And they did in 2022. The previous album was Everybody Loves a Happy Ending. That was in 2004. So that's a long time. That's 20 years? 18 years. 18 years. But then, 2 years later, they put out a live album called Songs for a Nervous Planet. That really holds true. Oh, I also have this version. The same. I have 2 copies of this record. This one has ice blue vinyl. This is a Target exclusive, and it has a single inside. Let It All Evolve and Shame. Cry Heaven. Yeah. So that comes with a single. Bonus tracks on the 7-inch. That's not on the regular. This is the regular vinyl. I think this is just black vinyl. No, it's not. This one, the first one I got, has green vinyl. But there's no extra tracks on this one. So I'm glad to have both of these. And at first I was like, why did you get another copy? And then I went, oh yeah, it wasn't because of the color variant. It's because it had 2 extra songs on a 7-inch. So it's worth having both copies of this record. So, and I guess that's it. No more gaps. At least none that I mean, there's others, but I only wanted to do the ones I had on vinyl. There's gaps with the Eagles, there's gaps with Grace Jones. There's a lot of gaps, but I don't have it on vinyl, so I didn't want to show CDs. because this is a vinyl channel, so I'm going to stick to that. In any case, I hope you enjoyed. And if you have any ideas about any other gaps that you can think of, you can put those in the comment section. I want to thank Brian from Embryonic Robot, and also Rick from Careful with That Axe Eugene channels for coming up with this thread, and also for Brian for keeping the thread going. So that's it. And I think I'm going to be busy for the rest of the day, so I probably won't be online anymore. But I'll talk to you sometime this week. Probably see you at the Wax broadcast on Tuesday morning. And that's it. Keep listening to great music. It's important, especially in these trying days. Take care, guys.